Hello, my friends, and welcome to a space where pleasure is treasured, relaxation is not what you think it is, and life firing on all cylinders is what we're about. If you are somebody who wakes up every day asking for way more, consider this your happy place. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm your host, Heather Nichols. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm in one of my favorite places, the Castello di Castel Borgone in northern Italy, and my favorite room in the castle as well, the Broglia suite. I've been here for the past almost week. Just really enjoying this place as always. I came here, I attended a class with Gary Douglas, who's the founder of Access Consciousness, and I also had a little wedding ceremony here last night, so that was very fun. And I wanted to talk a little bit about bodies today. This is going to be another quickie. Probably last week we did a quickie as well. Just chatting about actively creating your body every day. And this is something that is, I think a lot of people just don't even really think about, don't realize that it's something that we can do, that we can put energy into, that we can actually explore from a space of communion with our bodies. What is it to create our bodies every day? What can I do and be with my body to actively create it every day? Our bodies change all the time. We change all the time. They are new organisms. Even if you look from a purely scientific perspective, the cells of the body regenerate. There's certain organs that are completely new every so many years or whatever. I think it's something like maybe every 7 or 8 years you have entirely new cells in your body. And so, none of the cells that you have in your body today did you have, let's say 10 years ago. But it's funny because people don't really tend to see the body that way. They see their bodies as these, something that is just constantly getting old and diminishing. But the interesting thing is, if your cells are always regenerating and they're new, like your body is really only 10, all the cells in your body are, maybe no more than 10 years old. You're 10, your body's 10. No, but it's a totally different way to look at your body and think, wow, okay, well, my cells are regenerating. My body has new energetic possibilities and realities all the time. So what would it take to really harness that and to use that to your advantage? The cells regenerate with a particular type of cellular memory that, like where they sort of have this instruction that, this isn't a scientific podcast by any means, but our cells regenerate with a memory that allows them to be less great than they were before. But we can change that. There's so many things that we can do to change that. And it really comes down to being present with our bodies every day and choosing something different. So with that, I've been exploring so many things recently with my body, different, all kinds of things that I've added, cold plunging, breath work. I've been doing a lot of intermittent fasting. And then more recently, I've been doing a lot of nutritional things like eating way more protein than I would normally eat. And just all kinds of like different ways of playing with how I can be more creative with my body, how I can contribute to my body as it regenerates itself. And there's even a term called recomposing your body, where you can actually recompose the tissue of your body from, let's say, like there's one woman I've been following that talks about, recomposing your body from more fat to more muscle. And you can do that nutritionally. Like I've noticed that myself. Like I've eaten way more protein recently and I have way more muscle just from that. I do exercise, but it's the dietary shift that's really created this change in the makeup, the composition of my body, where it's like, I'm like, wow, there's more muscle here and less fat here than there was before. So there's all kinds of things that we can do to encourage the body and support our bodies in becoming greater every day. And for me, what's at the very center of it all, the kind of the core of that conversation, is the relationship that I have with my body. Because our bodies don't know what they don't like. We can't know what our bodies are asking for. We can't really know what to like give our bodies if we aren't in communion with them. Like if we don't have a relationship with our bodies and a conversation with our bodies, we don't you don't necessarily know what to give your body, how to change things, how to add or subtract or introduce new ways of doing things that are going to work. And um, so with that, it's like one of the things that, well, for me, the thing that has really allowed me to develop such a really beautiful conversation with my body and relationship with it, and I would say communion with it, is the access consciousness body processes. The body processes have really, they're energetic, hands on processes, so it's energy work that change the energetic, molecular, cellular makeup of your body and beyond your body, like the energetics that you be in the world. And those processes have been such a gift to me. They've healed so many things. They've changed so many things, like challenges that I was having with my body, like allergies or I used to not sleep very well. I sleep really well now. Just so many things that have really shifted from the energy work that we do in access consciousness. And one of the things that to me is this very beautiful underlying energy that just shows up and is there and it keeps growing and building and growing and building is the energy of having a much greater ability to listen to my body, to talk to it, to receive with it, to communicate with it, and 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 to know how it, like to know what to give it and also how it's going to respond to certain things. And and we don't always know how our body's going to respond. I mean, we don't know how our bodies are going to respond, but you can know if something is, for me, like with trying intermittent fasting, I was like, let me see, like it was just my body was like, please, can you try this? And how do you hear those voices? How do you listen to those voices? Well, you just develop less separation from your body. You develop more communion with it. You get over all of the points of view that you have about, that you need to control your body or that you can't possibly hear what your body's asking for. And sometimes when we go to add something new to the mix, like we go to, have something, a different thing, like for me with fasting or cold plunging or whatever, it's like, let me try that. I'm curious about it. I've learned, what it, like I've learned about it. I've heard some of the wonderful things that it creates. So that sounds kind of cool. Let me see if I can, let me see what it does for my body, and then it's just an experiment. And there are certain things where my body is like, no, thank you, very clear. Like I might hear about something and it's like, that is, I know that's not for me. There are some things I know they are for me, for my body, and there are some things that it's like, I'm not sure, but let me try it and see what shows up and evolve with it. Like, so I did a lot of fasting for about 3 months. I was fasting every day. Um, and it was creating some really cool things with my body. And then something shifted, and it was like, it's time to eat more protein, and you can't eat this much protein in such a short window of time, like an eating window, because if you do fasting, you have an eating window. And it was like, I need to open up my eating window, which means I decrease my fasting window, get more protein. But none of it is, I don't do any of it from like, well, this is what the science says, so this is what's going to work for my body, ever. But I also don't reject it because the science says. It's like the access consciousness body tools, the body processes are incredible. They are such a gift, and they continually undo so many ways that I've made my body like everybody else's body and at the effect of the world. And they continually give me a deeper, wider conversation with my body. They continually put me into more allowance with my body. And they also continually like allow me to have awareness of what's going to work. And I still do all kinds of things that come from other places, other traditions. I love acupuncture. It takes a lot of different types of supplements. I love Chinese herbs. I love osteopathy. Like, I do have an amazing osteopath. I do some incredible, like, just receive some really incredible body work, movement work. So to me, it's like it's all fair game. Like there's so many incredible resources for our bodies that why not allow all of them to contribute? That doesn't mean you're going to do all of them or, you know, like engage in everything that you hear about. But when you have this communion with your body, you're really able to listen so much more and to perceive what works. And when you add something that is weird, unfamiliar, strange, like for me, when I added fasting, um, it challenged me into a different space of awareness with my body because there's certain things that we kind of get used to where we're like, okay, this is how it goes. This is what my body likes. But you get into a little bit of a rut with that. And it's like, instead of, just kind of like keeping going on the same path, a lot of people that are seekers and people that like to have different, possibilities, different realities, they will, uh, you know, be constantly looking for more things, and it's it like you can't. So any one thing that you do too long for most people that are seekers, it's going to get boring, or it's going to get kind of, it's going to run its course. And um, I think my internet is cutting out. There are certain things that I've continued to do over many, many years, the body processes being one of them. The cool thing about the access body processes is they continually evolve. So there's like the processes, the energies of the processes now are so different than they were 10 years ago. They keep up with the evolution of consciousness. Um, but there's just different things that you may want to add at different times. And this is part of the active creation of your body every day, is being in the question. Body, what do you desire? What do you require? What can I gift you? What can I play with? And you may add something like cold plunging or fasting, that doesn't, you might be like, why would I do that? Why would I put my body in cold water? Why would I withhold food from my body? And it may seem strange, counterintuitive, like doesn't make sense. Um, and that's where we have to kind of facilitate ourselves with our bodies into a different reality. Because as we do that, it's like, you're like, for me, it was like both of those things were really uncomfortable at first to add. Cold plunging wasn't comfortable for me, but I how fantastic my body felt after I did it. The first time I did it, I was so really I just wanted to freak out, but I didn't let myself because that's one of the keys to cold plunging is you don't freak out. You intentionally calm yourself down when you're in cold water, which is a whole learning experience, something that you develop. It's like a muscle that you develop, which translates into so many cool things for your body, and your nervous system and all of that. But it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't, and a lot of people say like, is it light? Is it heavy? Light being, expansive and something that is true for you, and heavy being something that isn't, or that is more, not for you. But light and heavy don't mean like if it's comfortable, it's light, and if it's uncomfortable, it's heavy. It's more like, uh, is this going to generate the body that I've been asking for? Is this something that will contribute to my body, to this body? And you might be like, I don't really know, and well, then give it a go, and so I'll never forget my first cold plunge. I was in a very, very cold river, um, and way colder than I normally plunge when I plunge now. And my partner Brian was there and he was talking me through it. And he was like, calm your breathing down, just chill out when I really wanted to freak out. So it wasn't comfortable at all. I couldn't wait to get out. I got out and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel absolutely fantastic. Same thing has been with fasting. There are times where I'm fasting, I'm hungry, I don't feel that great in the moment, but I know there is something being created with my body that's different, and that is, where it's becoming greater. And so this is where we have to get out of our points of view. We have to get out of how we think things need to go, or like, what we think is like, well, yeah, my body wants this, but it doesn't want this, because it's not always about being comfortable. Sometimes it is really about challenging ourselves and challenging our bodies, but playing with things, getting the feedback and having the conversation with your body, and knowing that every single day there's things that you can do to create it as new, as different, as greater. If you saw your body as something that could become greater every day, what would that be like for you? What would that be like if your body could actually become greater every day? And everything that you added and tried and played with was actually an experiment, not so much of not so much of like something that you're like, now I'm doing this. It's a structure. I can't change it, but just like, let's see what this creates. Well, I still don't really know, and like the first time I tried fasting, it didn't really work for me. There was information that I was missing, but I knew that, and my body kept asking for it and kept being like, hey, I'd still like to try this. Like, you need some new information. And then finally I got the information, and then it was like, oh, okay, this is the information that I needed so that I could be doing things when I was eating. I could be eating things that would support the fasting. So there was a whole bunch of information I didn't have. Once I got it, then I could be fasting in a way that was really, like, really transformed my body. And but not seeing anything ever as the answer, the end all be all, but every day curious. Okay, body, what can I do to create with you today? How can I create you as greater today? What would you like to do today? How would you like to be? How would you like to move? Um, do you desire food? If so, what and when? You just asking your body these things and developing underlying this conversation that allows you to really hear the voice of your body with clarity, so that you can be in this evolutionary possibility with your body rather than stagnation. And I would just love to see so many more people enjoying the adventure of creating their bodies every day rather than being at the effect of stagnation, which does not have to happen. It doesn't matter how old you may be. Stagnation is not a necessity. It's not an inevitability. Age isn't an inevitability. And that doesn't mean, you should, hate aging and aging is a horrible thing and you should always look like you're 14, but there's so many possibilities out there, and we have to have a relationship with our bodies that allows us to explore so that we can be actively every day creating, because everything you do with your body, everything you put on or in it or you don't put on or in it, or whatever, is going to affect your body in some way. It's going to create it in some way. It might be a diminishment, it might be something that creates it as greater. So, are you willing to be that present that you actually acknowledge that? Are you willing to be that present that you choose to really be listening to your body in such a way that is, every day, whatever I'm doing with you, I'd like for it to make you greater. And I'm not saying you're not going to age, but age becomes a completely different thing when you look from that perspective. I'm actually going to be doing a free call to expand upon this. So this is like a little taster on Sunday, June 24th. So in 4 days, we're going to have it translated into all kinds of different languages called Defying Age. So you're invited to come and join that call, and we can actually chat. You can ask questions. We'll have some deeper conversations about this and so much more. It's on heathernichols.com/defying age is the link. And I hope to see you there. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Creation of Living podcast. If this conversation was inspiring to you, share the love. To work privately with me or for info on my upcoming classes and retreats, go to heathernichols.com. Have a beautiful day, and remember that the world thrives when you do.